I just wrapped up my year-end survey of channel 33 RPM viewers and your attitudes towards record collecting, the vinyl revival, the state of the industry, all that kind of stuff. And this year, more so than ever, I noticed some frustrations. Let's dive into this. Today's video is brought to you by Discogs, the ultimate destination for music discovery and record collecting. More on that coming up in 2 minutes. All right, 33ers, I've done these surveys in previous years, but what's different this year, as I just mentioned, is that level of frustration. I haven't seen this much frustration from record collectors, or specifically channel 33 RPM viewers. I don't think ever before, but again, that passion for music, that passion for vinyl is still there. So let's go through some of these questions. So all of these questions I posted in the community tab of the channel 33 RPM page. The first question was, what is the biggest issue facing record collectors headed into 2025? And I presented 4 options: rising costs, quality control, availability of titles, and other. And by far, 77% of you, more than 3/4 of you, identified rising costs as the #1 issue. Let's check out some of the comments. Rockio wrote, without a doubt the cost, where I could go in and buy several albums at a time. Now I only buy several new albums at best for the entire year. But even used albums have gotten to a point of reduction with their prices rising as well. Yeah, prices have been going up across the board. Metal Jesus Rocks wrote, I would buy all sorts of new releases, but at 30 to 40 bucks or more per album, I'm much more picky than I was years before. I'm sort of in the same boat as well, right? If I see a record for 30 or 40 bucks, I really have to think about it. Like, do I really want this record? Because that is a significant investment. This next comment, rising costs, but that's not just vinyl. And that's a good point, man. Everything is going up. Have you been to a grocery store lately? It's ridiculous. And this comment, I voted quality control, but would have picked all of the above if it was an option. I was debating doing all of the above, but I thought that was too easy. I was really keen on learning what the #1 issue was. But that's interesting that this person selected quality control. Quality control seems to be getting better in recent years, but maybe I've just been lucky. Let's take a quick break here to talk about Discogs, today's sponsor. All right, 33ers, I often get asked for advice on how to catalog a record collection. I'm honest, I say I've cataloged mine using a spreadsheet, but if I could do it all over again, I would use Discogs. A spreadsheet is inconvenient. Discogs is way easier. You open the app, scan the barcode on your record, and the album is instantly added to your collection. You can manage your collection and buy new records anywhere. Plus, Discogs provides the approximate value of your music. It's interesting to see how much your records are worth and helpful for things like insurance. You can also share your collection and connect with the world of record collectors who share your passion for vinyl. 33ers, my New Year's resolution is to finally move my entire collection over to Discogs, 1 record at a time. Why don't you join me? Head over to Discogs.com or download the app and start cataloging your record collection today. Now back to the show. So next question, be honest, are you buying fewer records due to the rising cost of vinyl? And this question kind of piggybacks off of that previous question. This was really interesting. I found this pretty surprising, where 70% of you acknowledge the fact that you're buying fewer records because of the rising cost of vinyl. 24%, about a quarter of you say no, and about 6% of you really aren't sure. So let's dive into some of these comments. Mickey said, yep, I'm much more selective with the vinyl I buy. Nothing wrong with that. That's kind of where I'm at as well. Walton Street said, if it's something I really want, I'll buy it. Music is a great spiritual investment. I've seen people spend far more than 60 bucks on an average meal and a couple of drinks. You sure as hell can't play and enjoy the results of that the next day. No, if anything, you may be hungover the next day depending on how many drinks you had. Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, man. Food, meals are super expensive now, so a $60 meal, it's come and gone, whereas if you had that record, you could have that for life. And Chris wrote, I stopped buying vinyl altogether, CDs only, and not looking back. I actually got a lot of comments along that line from record collectors who have said that due to the rising costs, they're either slowing down on their record purchases or turning their backs on vinyl altogether and switching to compact discs. Next question, looking ahead to 2025, do you expect to buy more records, fewer records, about the same amount of records, or not sure yet? So just remember, right now we've heard that a ton of you are already slowing down on your record purchases, and you have. in 2024. So this question looks ahead. So only 16% of you said you're going to buy more records in 2025. A third of you are saying you're still going to buy fewer records, and about a third of you are saying you're going to buy about the same amount of records, which is interesting. I mean, it kind of worries me, I guess, about the state of the vinyl revival or whatever. If you're already buying fewer records and you're considering buying even less records in the new year, right? Like, what's going to happen? What are the trends in the industry? What's going on here? Let's dive in the comments. Daniel wrote, been collecting since 2016 and pretty much have everything I wanted and have 1,500 plus records. I mostly just buy new releases, but the prices are definitely discouraging me. I can kind of relate to that as well. Most, if not all, the back catalog stuff I've ever wanted, I now own. The problem is I keep discovering new stuff that I want to buy, which is not really a problem, right? I love discovering new music. And Martin wrote, I expect to buy about the same, although I'd like to buy less. Requires discipline. That it does indeed, Martin. He says less to do with cost, more to do with listening to what I've already got. And that's a fair point, right? If prices are going up and you're not able to buy as many records, it's a great opportunity to kind of dig into and enjoy the records you already have. I'm doing a bit of that as well. And I'm not buying more records, but as I said, I'm trying to I'm trying to catalog more of them in Discogs as well. So I'm still very much interacting with my record collection, even though I'm not necessarily buying as many records as I have in previous years. I thought this question was an interesting one to pose. I said, what is the most you have ever spent on a single record, new or used? So I'm not talking about a box set. I'm not talking about a 2 LP set. I'm talking about a single record. So 27% of you have spent less than 50 bucks. About a third of you have spent 50 to 100 bucks. 26% of you have spent 100 to 250 bucks, and 11% of you have spent $250 or more on a record. I'm trying to think how much I've spent on a record. I've probably spent a couple $100, but I know a lot of people are spending much more than that. Let's dig into the comments here. Okay, JC from the Flipside Vinyl Community wrote, the most I've ever spent on a record is 550 bucks. The most my wife thinks I've spent is 100 bucks. JC, you've outed yourself, man. You've just told the whole world. Hopefully your wife doesn't see this video, man. I love it. JC's response is the perfect segment into my next question, which is, does your spouse or partner know how much money you spend on music? And 22% said yes, of course. 20% said no way. So 20% of you are hiding the actual amount of your record purchases from your spouse. 33% say she has a general idea, and 25% say you have no spouse or partner. So that's a non-issue. The comments here should be fun. Let's dive into this. Ryan wrote, single and loving it. No restrictions, no holdbacks. I can turn the volume up as loud as I please. This would never have been possible with my ex had she decided not to move out. Stuart wrote, I make sure my online purchases arrive on the days she's not working from home. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it is to have your purchases sent directly to your workplace. I'm not saying I've done that. I'm not saying I haven't done that, but it's something that may work. Mark wrote, justifiable lying is a moral imperative, right? Frank, yes. Yes, it is, Mark. And this comment says, so I hide some of the purchases of LPs by giving them to her as gifts. Man, that is the ultimate bit of trickery, the ultimate in sneakiness. You buy a record that you want and give it to your wife as a gift. Man, I'm glad that one's working out for you. All right, 33 are some interesting results and some interesting responses there. Why don't you weigh in? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Have a great week. Until next time, keep on spinning.